Good Friday morning, folks. Today's Friday, May 24th, 2024, and it's your Friday safety meeting. My name is Dennis Davis. I work in the safety department here at Prime. We're located in the Z building on the ground level, not upstairs, not downstairs, right on the ground level, center of the room, next to the pillars. So if you ever have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to stop by, and we promise we'll get you pointed in the right direction. We're kind of mission control there in the Z building, kind of get you pointed in the right direction where you need to be.
Ground zero.
Ground zero. If you need to get to fleet manager, if you need to get to payroll, need to get to leasing, accounting, wherever you need to be, we can get you taken care of. So don't hesitate to stop by. Dave White, myself, Bill Sprague, John Harden, Stephanie Ewing, Pam Linhart will gladly get you pointed in the right direction. All right. Breakfast is free this morning at all of our locations, so I don't see a lot of food on the table. So, man, Bill's going to be a little light. I'm okay with that.
You guys wait on your food? You already ate? Okay, good.
Okay. They came early. They hit the early shift just in case they didn't have a line.
It's not bad.
But as always, breakfast is free at all three of our locations. So let's give those folks that take care of us every Friday morning and every other event that we have a round of applause. John Blanson and his group do a fantastic job of taking care of it. So thank you guys for what you do. We do this every Friday morning, 52 Friday mornings a year. We are live here in Springfield, Missouri. We simulcast this to our other locations in Pittston, Pennsylvania, and in Salt Lake City, Utah. And of course, we are live across the socials. So welcome to our folks that are watching on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So thank you for being here. We really appreciate what you do. This is a holiday weekend, and we'll talk a little holiday stuff going on, especially securing equipment, things like that. But a lot of stuff to get to today. We got a jam-packed meeting. So, Dave, don't be taking too much time rambling, okay?
Oh, I'll keep it under control. You know me.
Sounds good. So let's go east first. I think we got Mr. Rick Ifford. Good morning, Rick. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing down there?
Doing fantastic. Looks like a few folks with you. What you got going on in Pittston?
Yeah, we got a few folks that are sitting around here. We got a few folks in line getting their meals, getting ready to have a little breakfast. Great week this week for orientation. We had a lot of upgrades, getting trucks. So we're filling some trucks and hauling some freight.
Well, good deal. This is a holiday weekend, and some folks are going home. Tell real quick, where do we park equipment coming into Pittston?
Anywhere you can, really, as far as here is concerned. It's kind of tight up here. Do the best you can. If you can't find a place to get it parked, we have yard guys around here running around with yard trucks. They'll be more than glad to hook it up to it and put it in a parking spot for you if you need to. Excellent.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you have a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to jump on the microphone.
Hey, thanks for having us.
All right, let's go west, Salt Lake City, Utah. Who do we got with us this morning? We got Aaron Ward.
Morning, guys. How are you?
That's not Aaron Ward. That's John Greeley.
Yep, I get to take over the mic again this week.
Well, fantastic. So first, who's running your fleet right now?
I think Travis Glunt is watching me for a little bit.
All right, excellent. So appreciate Travis for stepping up and taking over for a few minutes. But tell us what's going on in Salt Lake City.
We got a beautiful day out. We're ready for the holiday weekend. Got a big group out here. Looks like, 20, 25 people. Some people in line getting food still, but it's looking like it's going to be just a beautiful sunny day out here in Utah.
Excellent. Appreciate what you do. So real quick, and we'll have Doug Gannon up here to talk a little bit of think fleet manager wise, but since you're here, give me a quick elevator speech on what you're telling your drivers about this coming weekend, holiday weekend.
Well, this weekend, it's going to be big as far as load securement and equipment securement. Just kind of keeping in mind that holiday brings the thieves out as well as more freight. So we got to make sure that we have locks on trailers, everything's secured good, kind of watch where we park, avoid some of those areas, that might be a little bit on the red radar there, like maybe Memphis, some of the Petros down there, West Memphis, Arkansas, some of those areas that might be a little bit more of a high crime area. If you're going to be parked for any length of time, make sure that if you are going through the house that maybe let your fleet manager know and make sure that equipment stays connected to each other so that way we can monitor it.
Excellent. Bill, Security Bill's looking at me like you stole all his thunder, but it doesn't hurt to hear it one more time. So, John, great job. We always appreciate when you take some time out of running your fleet. I know Friday morning of a holiday weekend, it probably for you was the worst time for you to be here doing this, but so we appreciate you and Travis for covering and being here with us today. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right back here, Springfield, Missouri. Good morning, folks. A little bit of excitement. We got a packed room for, we really weren't expecting a packed room for a holiday weekend, but here we are. I do see a bunch of neon reflective vests. That means we got some new folks here. So if you're new to Prime, if you would stand for just a second to give us an opportunity to welcome you to the team. Yeah, go ahead. We appreciate you being here. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We appreciate you guys being here with us. We think you made a fantastic decision. Thank you for sacrificing your holiday weekend to be here with us. We do expect to see an influx of folks coming in here within the next couple of weeks. A lot of folks have paused coming in for weddings. It's graduation season, see those kids and family members graduate.
Holidays.
The holiday weekend. So the next couple of weeks, we do anticipate seeing a big influx of folks coming in. So, and of course, as always, we see a few familiar faces that we see pretty often. So great to see you guys. Welcome home. Hopefully we can get you taken care of as quickly as we can, whether it's just a quick break, a quick pass through, free breakfast, shop visit, whatever the case may be. Hopefully we can get you in and out and back out on the road. So
good info, Dennis.
Good.
Yeah, let's roll on. You're ready to go with some safety numbers?
Sure. So with me this morning, I've got Dave White. Dave, good morning.
Good morning, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. And I just want to say welcome to all of our new folks here. If you're an A, C, B, C, D, whatever, thank you for joining Prime. Hopefully you've done your due diligence looking at our company. I know we've done ours and researching your background, and you're coming to a great company here. We're family. Hopefully you feel that a little bit, and you'll feel it more down the road. So we're here to help you out. So you are coming in, though, this time of year. It gets a lot of traffic out there. We're starting to head into summer. School's out. Kids are out. Many of them inexperienced drivers that have licenses that maybe shouldn't, but they do. And we have to deal with that. So remember, when you're out there on the roadways, be on the lookout for those crazy kids. And you're running through towns and stuff, small towns, be on the lookout for kids playing out in the yards and maybe not paying attention to traffic, because that's where we need to pick up our spot and, be looking out for that. So you see a ball roll out in the street, you may want to stop because there's probably a kid going after it. They don't know necessarily look both ways or look for traffic. So, but those types of situations we want to stay out of and do your part and just slow down. And then, safety's number one, and that's what we always look at here. So, but this past week on our DOT inspections, Dennis, we hit that CVSA check about a week and a half ago, and those numbers really reflect this week. That check, because we had a total of 196 inspections this past week, which is way up. But because of the check, our trucks got checked out more. And you know what? We knocked it out of the ballpark. 147 clean inspections, a 75% clean rate. So give yourselves a big round of applause. That's one of our higher numbers. Yeah. During the CVSA check, May 14th through the 16th, they're looking for a couple of big things. One of them, air loss on your tractor. They're checking your glad hands on, see if they can hear any air brakes, any air loss coming out of the brake lines. Maybe having you do a brake check to see if you have anything in the system that's wrong. We knocked it out of the ballpark. I don't think we had very many violations in that area at all. I didn't see any. And on top of that, the drugs and alcohol, we didn't have anything. I saw, did you? I just want to make sure I'm good.
You are 100% correct. One of the focal points was drug and alcohol possession. So some of you folks that were inspected over the last week or so, because believe it or not, it's May 14th through the 16th. Sometimes they start a little early, sometimes they go a little bit later. But we saw some cabs inspected, perfectly legal for a commercial vehicle. We didn't get any reports of possession of alcohol or drugs. So appreciate you guys, in adherence to the rules and regulations.
Yeah, and that's what we need, day in, day out. That's the responsibility of you all, and you did great, and let's keep it up. Last thing we want to do is disqualify a driver here because they got possession of alcohol or drugs in their truck. It's, that stuff is not prohibited or is not allowed in commercial vehicles. So just remember that and keep doing what you're doing out there on those inspections, because 75% is great.
Fantastic. 75% is fantastic. So we got to keep it rolling, Dave.
Let's go.
So we got a guest speaker from our safety department.
Yeah.
So our resident million-mile driver, Stephanie Ewing from our safety department, is going to come and talk to you about the importance of reporting accidents timely. And of course, sometimes we get those citations even in our personal vehicles.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so really quick, if you get a citation, personal vehicle or in the big truck, make sure you scan it into Prime. You can go on your Prime app, Trip Docs, citations. If you get an inspection, make sure you scan it in. Definitely scan it in if it's a clean inspection, because then you can get paid. So always, always, always scan everything in. If you do get a ticket, think of it like this. Because you have a CDL, it is must that we protect it as much as possible. Some tickets are serious, some tickets are major. And the citation folks, Brian and Sarah, they can assist you with those citations and give you a heads up of, hey, these are your options, okay? Also, if you get in an accident, no matter how minor you may think it is, ruts in grass, damage to a curb or pallet or something like that at the customer, you do not want the customer to call us and say, hey, truck such and such hit our pallet and we need to report it and we don't see anything. So make sure, no matter how minor you may think it is, give safety a call and let us know so we can get ahead of the game, okay? Because we don't want the customer to call us in 2 weeks and advise us of that, okay? Any questions? Cool.
Got off pretty easy there.
I did.
Let's give her a round of applause. Thanks, Stephanie.
Good job, Steph.
Staying along those lines of compliance, I think we got the law department here. I think we got Alicia she's over there. Come on up, Alicia. Start making your way.
Alicia with an A.
Alicia with an A. We've got like 7 Alicias now. So
Just two.
Well, we got another one over in another department. So it's so many of you guys. We gotta start designating the first letter of your name. We got an A and an E, right?
Yeah, mine's with an A.
All right. So, but you're the original. There you go. So what do you got for logs this morning?
So in logs today, we're going to talk about the importance of logging off-duty and sleeper and how they could accrue in unwanted log violations and split breaks. So off-duty is anything that you should log anytime you're outside the vehicle, not working. Sleeper berth is where you're physically in the berth of the vehicle, okay? And if you are utilizing a split break and you log the split break incorrectly, it could result in an unwanted log violation. So the first portion of the split is initially the pause, and that's only going to pause your clock. You can only pause your clock one time in a shift. And the first break, it doesn't matter if you're doing the bigger break or the smaller break. The second break is where you're going to get the time back, okay? Now, the bigger break has to be consecutively logged in the sleeper. If you fail to do that, then you will get a log violation. It has to be consecutive in the sleeper, so you can't use PC, you can't interrupt it with off-duty or anything of that nature. Otherwise, you will get a log violation and you'll be unknown, okay? And that's how you can accrue a log violation. If you interrupt it, it will retroact that pause, take away the pause, and anything you went over your original 14, that's where you'll get a violation if you drove over that time. If you forget to log sleeper, simply we could just edit that time over and it can correct that time. Just call into your log advisor and we can get that fixed for you. I think another one that we see where you can get unwanted log violations is where you're failing to log out for shop time, because that shop is going to continue to drive on your clock. So just remember to log out for shop time as well. That could accrue some unwanted log violations, okay? Any questions with off-duty sleeper violations?
Hey, let's reinforce here real quick, sleeper, and I've had a lot of questions about, when to log sleeper and when not. Sometimes you see a driver with 24 hours consecutive in the sleeper. That's pretty hard to believe, right?
It's pretty hard to believe. DOT officer could do some digging after that. They know you're human. You're going to be getting in and out of the vehicle. So just where you're physically in the sleeper, you should be logging in the sleeper at that time.
Good deal. Good deal. Any questions from the law department? And I was hoping to hit you with some tough ones. All right. Thanks, Alicia.
Thanks.
All right.
All right. We're cruising right along. We're running ahead. I think our last couple speakers will probably take a bulk of the time, which is perfectly fine.
That's great.
We're going to invite Rachel with Driver Health and Fitness. Good morning, Rachel. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Doing all right.
Yeah. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Rachel. I'm the dietitian with DHF, just right upstairs. So what I kind of want to update today on is a health tip, but also I wanted to update on our Get Fit and Never Forget challenge. So for the entire month, we have been doing logging sit-ups, push-ups, squats, and miles in memorial of the 7,078 service members who died in the War on Terror. So I wanted to update on that. We did get 7,220 push-ups logged. So give your round of applause. So to go along with that, my health tip for today is if you are trying to work on anything related to your metabolism, or let's say you're trying to be more insulin sensitive, like you have high blood sugar, diabetes, something like that, a great way to help out with that is any type of strength training. So even just as simple as like what our challenge was, push-ups, even if it's off of your bunk or off of your cabinet wall, or just squats. You don't even have to, have a little bit of support, squatting and touching your bunk. That's totally fine too. Any type of body weight strength movement is really going to help out with improving your muscle mass and improving your calorie burn. It's called the afterburn whenever you do strength training. So that's my health tip for today. And then I just wanted to say thank you guys for all of what you do. And thank you especially for everyone who has been a service member in the military. And we really appreciate you. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, Rachel. Man, it's 8:20 and we are riding through those speakers. So everybody ready to get that holiday weekend started, right?
We are definitely.
Good.
Man,
Well, with holiday weekends comes people stealing stuff, right?
yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand sometimes.
Even before the holiday weekend, we've seen an uptick in cargo theft, and it's probably not just isolated to Prime Incorporated. It's probably across the trucking industry. So we've got our local expert.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
Doing all right, fellow St. Louisans. So are you a
Sure.
Cardinal
Yep.
fan and
Fellow high school.
fellow graduate at Riverview Gardens High School?
Yeah.
Good deal. So
How's everything going?
all is well, all is well. So we got a holiday weekend coming up.
We do. But before we get into the holiday weekend securement, let's talk a little bit about what's going on out there. So right now, cargo theft is just going through the roof. Over the last week, Prime has had 3 trailers broken into just in the last week. We had another one last night. All these occurrences are happening at truck stops. So that's just going to lead into what securement is going to mean here coming up. Right now, cargo theft is up 50% from last year, which is up 20% from the year before. Right? The current thing that's being stolen right now, the number one thing stolen that they're looking for is energy drinks. Energy drinks is the number one product they want to steal out there. And the reason is it's easy to move. If you go steal a load full of energy drinks, these little bodegas, little shops, little everything will take these energy drinks, pennies on the dollars, and turn around and sell them. And there's not a lot of serial numbers on energy drinks. The second thing they're looking for is meat. I mean, think about it, guys. How many have been to the grocery store lately and tried to buy a steak, try to buy ground beef? It's expensive. So if you can steal a bunch of meat, you can turn around and sell it. And once again, it's very hard to track steaks. There's never a serial number on the steak. So these guys are being able to get the stuff, sell it, and make good money. They're making about 80 cents on the dollar when they're selling this stuff. So it's good money out there for them. And it doesn't cost them a whole lot to get into the back. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time. The one thing that we ask everybody in the reefer division to do, whether you're hauling air or you're hauling freight, is to have a lock on the back of your trailer. We're finding right now that a lot of the break-ins that we're seeing as a company, they're recovering the seal, but they're not recovering the lock. Which means either one of two things. Either the thieves are being really nice about cleaning up after themselves, or maybe there wasn't a lock on there to begin with. So we do ask you that if when you haul your freight, you lock the back of your trailer, you take a picture that will verify that you've put a lock on the back of your trailer that will show the trailer number along with the seal intact, and just hold that on your phone. And if something happens, if it's an alloy lock, that's great, because if something happens, you turn that in, you don't have to pay that $500 deductible claim you're gonna have to pay. If you don't have the proof, you're gonna be out that $500. So to me, that picture saves you $500. The alloy lock saves you $500. It's a smart investment. But this weekend, we're going into the holiday weekend, and of course, everybody wants to go home. We all want to go home and have fun, want to have the barbecue, do whatever else you want to do. We ask you to do a couple things. A, before you go home, get with your fleet manager, get a plan in place. Ask him where you can stop, where you can drop the trailer, where you can drop the tractor. You know, just dropping a tractor and trailer doesn't mean it's going to be there when you come back. We had a driver yesterday drop his tractor, went home for the night, came back, the tractor had been towed because he was on private property. That tractor is going to cost him over $1,000 to get out of the yard now to get back running again. And that's coming out of his pocket because he didn't make a plan where to put the tractor. So that's what we're asking you. Make a plan ahead of time. John did a great job about it. Stay out of the major cities if you're going to be stopping. Don't be stopping in LA. Don't be stopping in Memphis, Chicago, Dallas. Those are all hot spots right now across the United States. So make a plan, get with your fleet manager. If you can't get with them, get with security, and we'll figure out a nice secure spot for you to park your equipment. So when you come back out of the house, you're ready to go out trucking again. So anybody got any questions?
Man, you're getting off easy too, Bill.
I'm telling you.
Look at this.
Thank
How
you.
about Pittston and Salt Lake? Any questions up there? Crickets.
Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much. It's always important. And you know, a lot of the stuff that Bill and even Greeley said a little bit earlier, you guys have heard this before, but it never hurts to have a quick reminder. You know, we're so excited to go home for the weekend. You know, we've had a tough couple of weeks or tough couple of months, but just got a little fatigue. And man, it just slipped my mind that I didn't communicate with my fleet manager on exactly what the plan was, you know, so it doesn't hurt to do that. So speaking of fleet managers, I asked Doug Gannon to start making his way up here. Doug Gannon is one of our fleet managers in the refrigerated department. He runs lease trucks, and, you know, we try to give fleet managers an opportunity to be here with us on these Friday morning meetings. So first and foremost, like we talked to Greeley about, we know Friday morning on a holiday weekend is probably the worst time to ask you to come up here and do this. So who's covering your fleet right now?
I actually have a trainee that's covering my fleet.
All right, so we'll be quick. All right.
Be fine.
So, but we really appreciate you making time to come and do this, and the floor is yours. Tell us what you got.
All right, just want to kind of go over, you know, safety, of course, claims prevention, and communication with your fleet manager. So obviously, if in the refrigerator division, you've seen a change in our live depart process. We're actually asking you to circle the receiving location and the temperature on the bills. So what we're basically trying to drive home is that temperature on the bills. That's what we need to be going off of. Don't go off the load assignment, the load info that you're getting, because it's an outline. So if you ever have any questions about destination, temperature, product you're hauling, go ahead and scan in that paperwork, get with your fleet manager so we can take a look at it. We will get with the customer and sales to verify exactly what we need to be running the temperature at and where we need to be going. So it's just great communication that we need to go back and forth. So I know that everybody right now is a little bit worried because of a freight deficit that we're going through, but I assure you that everybody here at Prime is here to make your guys' business successful, take care of your family, and send that money home. So we're working as best we can all the time. So back to the communication thing, you know, any issues at all, be sure and let somebody know. If you're running late, we always want to know that so we can get with the customer, get with sales, get it worked out to where if we're going to be just a few minutes late, we can get with the receiver and make sure they're able to take us. So, and communication can be, you know, just as easy as sending a yes on a load commit. That also lets every one of us know that we're good on a load. So, I mean, just good communication. It's great. You got anything else?
Got anything else you want to share with us?
Well, I mean, I could talk up here all day, but
We don't want you all day. You know, we know we got a trainee covering your fleet,
Yeah.
but you know, just here real quick, tell us about your history here at Prime. How long have you been here?
well, 14 years. He'll be 15 at the end of August.
All right.
Before that, I had my own trucking company, so I've got 33 years in trucking. So
All right. Well, excellent. Excellent.
a lot of
Yeah, give them a
background,
round of applause.
that I take into this job. So, I mean, I tell my guys that when I'm getting a pre-plan, I look at it from a fleet manager standpoint to make sure it's a good load. And then I turn right around and I sit down in your seat, trip plan the load out. Can this be done? So we have a lot of talent up in dispatch that can do the same thing. So, I mean, just kind of going back, we're sending you the best freight that we have every time the first time.
There you go. Love it. Thank you so much for being here.
You bet.
All right. Just- Wait. We got a question online. Say it again. Talk about your driver development program just a little bit.
With the TNT PSD,
Both.
okay, right now, given that we are in a freight deficit, this is the best time to be training. So we've got the program set up to where it is providing extra income for company and lease operators at this time. So it's a dramatic improvement on the revenue and potential revenue you can make. So if you're interested in it and you qualify, get with your fleet manager. He can get you in the process to come in for class. So just to give you some numbers, the last time that I'd heard, having a TNT instructor on or TNT student on your truck can increase your revenue 50,000 in 6 months. So if we're looking at not making enough revenue, definitely training is the way to get more revenue in your pocket.
You heard it from the fleet manager, Doug Gannon. So Doug, appreciate you being here with us this morning.
No problem. Thank you.
Good job. Always interesting looking at their background and listening to them, how they got here and what they did before Prime. I think it's, Doug had no idea, man. He ran his own trucking company.
33 years in trucking. So I think we got a question over here.
Good morning. I have a question. I'd like to know, where do we stand at from the Q1 to Q2 with each division? Since you hit on, say, the deficit, have we seen an increase this quarter so far versus last quarter?
I'll point you toward the division managers. What division you want to know from each division? 2 feet away from you is a guy that runs the tanker in the hopper division. All right. I think we got somebody we got flatbed right here. You know, so come on over here. This gentleman has a question about your division, and I'm pretty sure we can find somebody. Steve Wucky over here can probably answer good questions from the reefer division.
Brian Brown, flatbed. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
I didn't mean give him the microphone, but go ahead.
What was the question?
Can you repeat your question, sir?
Yes. My question is, how's each division doing with Q2 versus Q1? Because a lot of in the social groups talking about, hey, let me go to this division, you make more, this division that. But what just has spoken is we are still in a deficit. So is there really that much of an increase, or everybody needs to stay where they at and trust the process?
Yeah, so you know, every division has different business cycles. The way the economy affects different divisions, of course, varies a lot depending on what's going on. So, you know, the reason we have all these different divisions at Prime is because we want something for everybody. You know, we want a good fit for everybody. Flatbed happens to be doing pretty well right now. That can change anytime. Reefer's on we believe, the upswing. So things change, you know, dramatically. What I would say in the long term, though, is earnings in general for all divisions are relatively, you know, the same in many ways. You have to look at what you prefer, you know, physically. Flatbed is maybe more, you know, labor intensive, getting out, securing loads, tarping loads, things like that. Some people prefer that. Some people don't prefer that. So there's different, you know, there's differences that way. But in the long term, I think earnings in general are, you know, relatively close. Does that answer your question? Okay. I'm having a hard time trying to hear what you're saying.
My point is about, I can speak louder. Or
Yeah.
Okay, my question is about the financial profit and loss part of it from Q2, where we at right now, because we finishing up Q2 versus Q1. Have we seen an increase in each division? I just talking about the financial aspects, because in the social media groups, they're talking about let's go here, and they're thinking that, oh, it's more of this and that, but not knowing the facts that is there truly an increase as we're going house to trend so far as of today.
Q2 and tanker division compared to the start of Q2 compared to Q1, we're down just a little bit in tanker and hopper. That is because the beginning of Q2, we've had plant shutdowns because we're hauling oils, and they go in and they clean all the piping out of all the plants. So each week we've had a different plant down. Now the forecast for the rest of Q2 after this weekend, our business picks up. So we'll gain that back. Will we be ahead of Q1? I'm not for sure. We also look at year over year, and year over year, we are outperforming last year, same quarters. Does that answer your question for the tanker?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. I teed it up for you.
And flatbed, yeah, flatbed's up, you know, flatbed's doing very well right now. We're up and have continued to be up. So, you know, things are good. Since probably 2 weeks before Christmas, we've been on a pretty good roll. Freight's been really strong for us. So we're definitely on the upswing still. So, yeah.
So on the refrigerated side, thank you, Brian. You just heard these guys. Flatbed has been doing relatively well in a tough environment. Just to tell you about the tanker side, we actually started our tanker division because we had so many of our refrigerated customers that had tanker business, like the Hershey people, the Mars people, Tropicana Juice. They had a need for tanker volume. So we like to diversify. That's why we started this tanker business. It overlaid very well with our existing customer base, and we're going to continue to grow them. We're a growth company. It is what we are, and we will continue to grow. However, we've been very cautious about our growth over the last couple of years because of the marketplace and the cyclical nature of what we're seeing in the economy. So we're actually running a couple hundred fewer trucks than we were running this time last year. We know that we don't want to impact the earnings of our existing operators, so we've been very cautious and have stayed flat. Now, having said that, we also think that the cycle is going to flip here before long. So we're getting prepared. We're asking people to train, so when it does flip, we can take care of the demand with our existing customer base and be able to grow our offering and our ability to offer capacity to our customer base. We don't want to be behind. We want to be leading. And I think that's been the story of our company over the last 40 years. We like to be the leader in the industry. Sometimes that's a dangerous position, but the service that all of our drivers give us is unbelievable. Nobody can replicate what you all do when it comes to service, and that's what's driving our growth. So we thank you very much for those questions. And, you know, the earnings are off a bit year over year, but as Doug just said about training and teams, that team situation is awesome. Creates a lot of revenue. It's a great opportunity to improve your earnings. So please think about it. I know training is not for everybody, but if you want to give back to the industry and make a little bit more money, it's a great thing. So thank you for what you do. We appreciate you all very much. Dennis,
Oh.
it's yours.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Brett. All right, so I asked Brian to start to make her way up here. A couple weeks ago, May 10th, I think it was, we made an announcement that we have entered into a partnership agreement with the Netrodyne Company to help us provide safety in the realm of outward-facing and inward-facing cameras. You know, if you've ever seen a social media account, you've seen some feedback on it, both positive and negative, and that's perfectly fine. Brian and I made my live debut yesterday. I don't know if it was your first time. Probably
No,
not.
I've done a few others.
All right. I made my live debut yesterday answering some overall questions. And one of the things that we promise you we do is we do a continuing education series about, you know, what this program is for, what it'll do, what it provides for you. And we won't go from a broad perspective like we did on May 10th. We'll kind of peel back the onion each time we do one of these. We do plan to go live again
Next Thursday,
next Thursday
noon,
at noon
Central.
Central Time. All right. But today, Brian's going to cover specifically the inward-facing privacy portion of the camera. So take it away.
So if you read your news on the Prime mobile app, there was kind of a survey you could fill out with questions and concerns. And one of the biggest ones we got was about what does it look like? What does this privacy filter look like? So there's kind of three separate pieces to it. And so while you're not moving and the key is off, the outward camera continues to record. So if you're hit in a parking lot, if you're somewhere like that, we can go back and pull that video. So this is a very good example of what that looks like. Somebody called in and requested that video. There is absolutely no inward facing view at all. It doesn't even exist. So the inward camera is completely not on. But we caught this damage that happened to a truck in a parking lot while the driver was not in the vehicle. They were actually in somewhere else, caught this, was able to go back and give it to law enforcement. Oh, that was fast. The second one is the key is on, but you're not in motion. So if you sit for 3 minutes and after you've sat for 3 minutes until you get up to 5 miles per hour, that inward is completely blurred. So if you're sitting at a receiver and you're waiting for something, the key is on, you can pick up your phone and talk on your phone. You could take your seatbelt off while you're doing something. Feel free to move around. That will cause absolutely no events because that inward is 100% blurred. The other portion is if you are in motion and driving more than 5 miles per hour, there is a privacy filter where it is only the driver shoulder to shoulder. Everything else is completely blurred. There is no view of the passenger seat. There is no view of the sleeper. And that box around the driver kind of moves with you. So there is nothing that you can kind of see around there. And that video is blurred at the device. So there is no way to go back and unblur that video. We have absolutely no access to the unblurred video. It does not exist. So that is what we can see when an event is triggered. Oh, it's real fast. You can kind of see, I tried to pick a couple of clips and I asked these people for their permission before I use these videos, but you can see that they have hats, sunglasses on. One person only has one hand on the steering wheel. None of those create events. This is all something else that's happening. So this one was a traffic light. You can see if it's really hard to tell. I think I made a bigger one. You can kind of see where it detects the lights in front of you. When it picks up the green light, it picks up a speed limit sign. It picks up when it turns red, and you can kind of see it all the way through the motion. It has all the ECM data from the truck, so you know exactly what speed was going, all of that information all kind of tagged right in that video. You can also earn stars, and when those videos occur, it's kind of the same thing. You get to see the following distance for all the vehicles in front of you, beside you. It kind of puts all of that out there for you, and you can kind of see what's happening there. You as a driver get an app that you get to go in and see all of this information. So you get to see your individual score as it analyzes every minute of your drive time. You get to see all of that information, and any events that it creates, you have access to. Every video that's created, you have the exact same information that we have, so you can see the exact same thing. You can go in and see the events, you can play the videos back. And this was kind of a I blew it up on the side to take out some of that screen space, but you can see exactly what it looks like. So this was somebody who created separation. You'll see that truck in front just cut right in front of them, really, really close. And so let off the cruise control, gave some extra space in between there, earned a green star. But you can see exactly what the video looks like. That is the only view that we get. So there is no other view that is out there. So those were my privacy examples. So that was one of our biggest questions, and I wanted to make sure that I kind of gave us some examples of what those look like through the process so you can see exactly what gets recorded. And now I will, if you have questions, I'd love to answer them.
I have two questions for you.
Sure.
The first question is when you're backing up, we like to say we have our heads out the window and our seatbelt off. Would that cause an event? And the second question.
Hold on, let me answer that one first before I forget what your first question was. No, because you have to be going, the seatbelt is 20 miles per hour. So that way, if you're on a yard, if you're, on our lot here, things like that, 20 miles per hour is when that, once you hit 20, seatbelt on.
Okay. Thank you. And my second question is, how are we going to provide support for safety and the fleet managers when they have to go through a review? Because once we go full force, like I said, we're 9,000 trucks strong. So that should cause a delay in the sense of urgency for our fleet managers to respond as they normally do. How is the company going to help support that? Because I enjoy it, because my fleet manager is awesome with communication, one person at a time. But if he's sitting on there reviewing cameras, that's caused a delay when I might have a cargo issue or anything. So how are we going to help prevent that?
Can I answer that one for you?
Sure.
All right. Thank you for that question. And we've got that question a lot. We even got it from some fleet managers. But if the system works as designed, your fleet manager will have less. Your fleet manager will have less work than they currently have. Of course, you'll still have the normal critical events that you are used to and expect right now from an outward facing standpoint. Now, there will be a slight addition to those with U-turns, stoplights, and stop signs, all right? But from an inward-facing standpoint, so far, it's not been a lot because on most deals, not the seatbelt yet, but, mostly handheld, you get an in-cab audible alert first. You have the opportunity to self-correct before any alert is created. So you do make a mistake and you pick up that cell phone, it'll give you an in-cab audible alert. Shoot, you put it down, no telematics is created, your fleet manager doesn't see anything. There's no work to be done to specifically answer your question. I think this gentleman has a question.
So is this system like AI generated or is that protocol?
It is AI, so that's what does the reviewing of the footage. So it does kind of continuous record because that's how AI works. And it uses that data as it kind of collects. So if you're getting real sleepy, it uses your facial cues. So if you start rubbing your face and you start blinking a lot and you start rubbing your eyes, it's gonna think that you might be drowsy. So it's gonna make an announcement to you, just so you can kind of know what's happening. And then you're like, oh, I wasn't tired. It was just rubbing my face. And we can go in and mark those as false if they're not real alerts. So, and then they're gone.
Okay, yeah, no, I was just curious whether or not if it was a person, AI, or protocol.
No, it is AI that is generating the alerts, and then we go back and review them. And that's really what we're doing right now, is really testing how accurate it seems to be.
We even got one over here for you. It's been hit on a few times, but I don't think it can be emphasized enough. There's no audio, correct?
There is absolutely no audio recorded.
And no audio.
Everybody, absolutely no audio is recorded. That is a fleet-wide setting. We turn it and it is completely off. That is part of our privacy packages. There is absolutely no audio recording.
Another question. Somebody asked, what do those points we accumulate do for us? Do we have plans for that?
The hope is to use that as part of a safety and service bonus at some point in time as we kind of collect some more information. So we have some good ideas, but haven't really kind of put all the pen to the paper yet. But we'd really like to use those because that does analyze every minute of your driving. It uses things like the critical events, if you have hard braking, speeding events, those type of items, along with all of the good things that happen. So if you're moving over for vehicles parked in the shoulder, if you're creating space in front of you, if you go through and accurately stop at 200 stop signs, you earn different awards. There's a bunch of different things that can happen, but we would really like to use those to reward great driving.
And that blur that the camera shows whenever you look at it on an app, that doesn't go away, right?
It does not. There is no way to remove the blur. It's blurred at the pixel level. So each individual pixel is blurred separately. So there is no unblur option available.
One more, and this was actually from the live stream yesterday. I just want to keep you up here as long as possible.
Okay.
Somebody yesterday was asking about, hackers, whether that's from Russia or anywhere else. What is that? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I can. So the video is encrypted in rest and in motion. So it's encrypted on the actual device that's doing the recording. It's encrypted in motion to the cloud, and it's encrypted, stored in the cloud, and to us. So unless you have like 7 different encryption keys, you have absolutely no way to get that. The software that we have on the cameras, it actually becomes part of the hardware. It's part of the firmware that gets on the camera. So there's no way to plug into it and change it or do any of those options. And that was very important to us when looking for these devices, was to find ones that were encrypted and safe.
Any other questions? Comments, concerns?
Dennis, we got a question out here in Utah.
All right, go for it. John Greeley.
I want to piggyback on the encryption part and lots of things are encrypted and get hacked all the time. Banking software, the government got hacked. How do we know that this isn't going to get hacked? And also, you say that the blur can't go away, but how do we know it can't go away at all?
It's done at the pixel level with a random amount of blurring per pixel. So there's no way to undo the blur on a 1080 view with individual pixel blur. There's no computing power out there enough or time in the many years that would be able to undo the blur that is on those videos, because it is very random and it is on the pixel base.
I lied. One. Oh yeah, go ahead.
On the new system, how is it going to be affected to drivers that drive late at night, bad weather? We have a tendency to lean forward towards the wheel. Is that going to trigger an event?
It is not. And so it does have some night vision on those cameras. And we've not had a single issue for people who like to drive with one hand, people who like to sit more forward in the seat, people who like to sit to the side, people who like to lean over to one side versus the other. No problem with motion in the seat.
One more.
One more.
Can you initiate a capture, whether that's a video or a picture, if you're witnessing something outward or inward?
You can. So there's a button on the camera that will create an actual event for yourself. You can have a driver initiated event. So if you see something, things like that, you can push that button on that camera and capture that event. It does continuously record, so we can go back about 4 days to retrieve video. If you didn't get that button pushed, it wasn't safe, or you couldn't get to it, you can say, hey, at around 2:30 p.m. yesterday, I witnessed a major accident and I think we should send this footage to somebody. And we can go back. There's a very small amount of people who can go back, it's the safety department who can go and pull that video from that device, and then we can send that on to wherever it needs to go, and to you as well. So any video that we kind of get, we give to you as well.
And there is a video on YouTube. If you just look up Prime Inc. Netrodyne announcement, it has a lot of information on there that answers a lot of the questions that we're receiving. So Dennis, Daryl, and Robert all speak on that and give a lot of the information for questions that are being asked.
And we are going to do another live next Thursday at noon. So if you have more questions, things like that, you want some more things, you can fill out that survey, give us some more questions, and we'll gladly try to get to all of them.
Since social media has been popular, with any company, when accidents happen, footage tends to get leaked on like Facebook and things like that. Does this software has any anti-leak properties to keep it from being leaked if something was to happen?
It does. You actually can't save or screen record anything from the app where we're giving you the videos, so you can't take them and do anything else with them either. And we have disabled the option in-house for any downloads. So nobody gets to download that video to go put anywhere else. And we log everybody who watches it. So we want you to know that, your fleet manager is the one who has access to your videos and safety. And every person who watches those videos is logged and we know exactly who did it and what activity occurred. Was there one more in Salt Lake?
In Utah, yeah. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, will the new tablets be replacing the old Qualcomm ELDs? And when can we get rid of those old ones?
Yes. So we are in a pilot with a new Mobilecom provider, and it is tablet based. So we do have anybody that's kind of testing these cameras for us. We are also testing the new ELD system. You have to run both at the current time because Omnitrax is our system of record. So that's where all of your legal logs are. But we're running both, and that's how it works in tandem with the cameras also.
I got a fastball question for you, and this is just kind of overall cybersecurity type question. You want to talk about, we've had a few questions about, can somebody from foreign or even domestic hack into the camera system, steal the footage, break the blur. But you want to talk about just from an overall standpoint, and of course, we've got all kinds of information on every single driver that works here, every single associate that works here. We've got name, address, phone number, social security number, contacts. We've got your work history. We've got your bank account number. We've got your routing number. And they have all that same information on us as well. You want to talk about how many times, and you can use whatever time frame you want that people have tried to hack into our system overall and what type of failure or success they've had with that.
I'm going to be very generic because I don't want to give specifics, but yeah, it's continuous. And the easiest thing that we can do to prevent a lot of those options is training, which is why we try to encourage everybody to change your password. Don't make your banking password the same thing as your Facebook password. You're that first line of defense. We put a lot of information in the app and stuff for you. In-house, we're a lot meaner and make people have very long passwords and make them change them much more frequently. And we have to use multi-factor authentication. So you have to have an app on your phone, or you have to get text messages or a phone call. We have to have multiple steps through that process. We train every single month. We provide training to our in-house associates on what to look for, what things to do. We have, machine learning pieces that go and look for emails that are bad and suck those right out of mailboxes and things like that, because we care about your information just as much as we care about our own information. And you'll see October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, but I'll give you a little preview now. Change your passwords. Easy passwords are easy for anybody. So throw a number in there, throw a symbol in there. Don't make them your kids' names, your birthdays, or your dogs. Those are very easily guessed passwords. Make it something that's important. If you have important information in there, put a good password on it. Make sure that you're taking care of your own information also. We will never call and ask you that our systems are down and we need you to give us your social security number and your Comdata card number. We will never ask you that. Absolutely not. So if you get those kind of phone calls and things like that, just know that those are not legitimate. We will never call and ask you for those pieces of information.
Installation, Monday through Friday of the cameras.
Yeah, if anybody's interested, we still have just a few more slots available. If you want to try out the cameras, you want to give us some good feedback. We're kind of in that learning process where people are we're listening, we're learning, we're taking a lot of feedback on things that we're collecting, and this is the time to do it. So if you're interested in participating, we have an option over in the shop that you can get to Monday through Friday, 7 to 5. We can get you installed. It takes about 30 minutes. You do run both the Omnitrax and the new ELD and get the camera. So we are very excited and we are very much open to your feedback during this point of time.
All right, and I'm glad you said that. So I'm going to ask Greg Witzke to come on up and join you here. See, Greg here is kind of a superstar. And here's what I like about Greg. So when we originally started to talk about this in Driver Advisory Board, you were pretty critical. Talked about how you didn't want it, didn't like it. You probably even said some bad words about me. But it's okay. I'm not going to ask you to admit to that, but that's okay. But one of the things Greg did do, he said, it's not about opinions at this point. I want feedback. So Greg went and got it. Okay. Probably against his own judgment, he went and got it. But, just here real quick, because we're running quick on time. I'm not going to ask you to admit to anything you did wrong by anything like that. But just give me your overall opinion of, first, how long have you had it?
I've had it probably for about a month.
Okay, now tell me what your thoughts are after a month.
So I was a little skeptical about it, but I popped up several alerts when I first got it. The most popular alert I get is probably driver drowsiness. Like you yawn 3 times in like a 5-minute period. It reminds you to say, it basically says, please stay alert. So, so I get those a lot. One thing like I've always created a bad habit of is kind of rolling through stop signs. Like not really blowing them, just you have to come to a complete stop before you proceed. And so that was a bad habit. The camera actually helped me correct that. But overall, like it's really not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Well, good deal. But you said you rolled a stop sign, and they're gonna drag you.
Yep.
No, they're not. It'll be okay. You're not the first person, I promise. Okay, but you saw it.
Yep.
You coached yourself, and now you're fixing it.
Right, and like Brianne said, like it does give you the audible alerts, and if you respond to it quick enough, your fleet manager doesn't even see it.
There you go. Perfect. So appreciate you, Greg Wesky, for coming up and volunteering. Thank you, Brianne, for giving us a breakdown of privacy. You got all kinds of mics. Oh, we got a question? Oh. Okay. All right.
All right. Well, also, if you're, I'm a Prime Mobile plug here. So I work on the Prime Mobile app a lot, and Richard and I are over here after the meeting. If you have any problems or questions about your Prime Mobile app, or you need help getting in, all of those things, come and see us right after the meeting.
Thank you so much, Brianne.
Man, good information.
Good information. Good information. You know, thanks, Greg Wesky, for subjecting yourself to coming up here. That wasn't planned. I drug him up, kicking and screaming. But thank you for coming up and doing that. You know, at this point, with this new technology, you know, it's forward pushing time. It's forward go time. We appreciate your opinions, but we want your feedback. And let me tell you the difference. Opinions are what you think. Feedback is what you experienced. Bay 44, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get with your fleet manager, get signed up. We can get you going. Give me a call.
Get your camera.
7, 14, 30 days after you get it, then let's talk about your feedback, not necessarily your opinions of what we got going on. So appreciate all the speakers today. You know, this weekend is a really, really special deal here in the United States, Memorial Day. Dave, I'm gonna give you a quick civics lesson here. You know, Memorial Day is to celebrate those men and women in our armed forces that were killed in action, killed in military service. So normally what we would do is we would ask, you know, all the folks that serve to stand, and we want all the folks that serve this country, we want you to stand. But in addition, if you have somebody in your family that served, that means mom, dad, grandpa, son, daughter that served. I want you to stand too. It's a special weekend. Go ahead and stand. Stand. If you've got somebody that served, if you served. All right. We want to say thank you to the folks that served. We want to say thank you to the families that you sent your loved ones out there to protect us. That's important too. That's your service too. So thank you so much for what you do. So this weekend, whether you're at home with family, whether you're out on the road driving, I want you to take some moments and think and understand what Memorial Day is for. Yeah, I love barbecue and we're going to have a good time. But remember the folks that died in action, the families that affected for generations, and how that affected us as a country. So I'm gonna ask Steve Lucky to come on up here. You graced us once, but you know, you're back and better than ever, right?
Oh man, yeah, let's roll.
Good deal. So just real quick, you know, what do you think about this whole camera deal?
Well, some things don't change around here. Safety is our highest calling. And that's what this camera is all about. It is about creating a safer environment for you all and for the motoring public. We say it, we mean it. Safety is what matters in this business. It isn't about necessarily being the biggest carrier in the country. It isn't about creating the most revenue. It is about safety first. You know, on the sales side, we cannot move rates high enough to offset accidents and certainly to replace a life. So please, as you think through this camera situation, think about what it is really trying to accomplish, and that is to make us a safer company. You know, we're blessed in a way that other companies may not be, and that is because El Jefe, the owner of our company, believes in safety, and he's going to invest in it. When you look at the equipment that you're driving, the equipment that we're deploying out there, all of the technology that we've invested in, that he's chosen to invest in, is about safety. So please, we understand change is a little bit contentious and sometimes hard to accept. But over time, I submit to you, all companies are going to have cameras. Now, it's going to take a minute or two because not everybody can afford to do it, but it will be mandated over time that cameras, inward, outward, are going to be part of this industry. So we might as well buy in, get it done, understand it, become a better operator. You know, pilots, airplane pilots, they go through training annually. It is about being safer. So look, on the business side, since I'm in sales, I'm going to touch on it just a minute. Forgive me for getting off the camera, Dennis, but business is starting to see a little bit of an uptick. It's been a challenge for the last 18 months for sure, but it's coming back. It's coming back in a good way. So it's been a grind during these tougher times. We all need to look at the cost side of our business, maybe squeeze out an extra half mile, a gallon, and look at watching your tire expense, watching your fuel expense, just working on the cost side. And we should always do that, but in a down market, that's the way we survive. And I'm telling you, we're surviving very well. There's a lot of pain in the industry right now. There's a lot of companies that are struggling. There's going to be many that aren't going to weather this storm. So over time, and I'm telling you, it's happening every day, we're losing capacity. We're seeing competition close doors. We're seeing brokers close doors because the price point that they are bidding this business is not sustainable. You know, we've chosen to try to protect the earnings that we've created over the last couple of years. That's been our strategy. We don't want to be a low price service provider. We want to be a low cost service provider. There's a huge delta between price and cost. So that's been our mantra. Our sales team, I think, has done a good job. We're out there grinding every day and we're finding a lot of wins. And why are we finding wins? And why do we not have to match up with low price? It's because the service that our prime team gives us, the service you provide to our customers, is just not touchable by the competition. It's a wonderful thing, and we thank you for that. Please continue to give us that service, but remember, our highest calling is safety, okay? And the holiday this weekend, I agree with what Dennis said. You know, when we were growing up, Robert, come on up here. When we were growing up, it was called Decoration Day. It was called Decoration Day because we'd go to the cemetery and we'd decorate the grave sites with flowers, right? You remember that, Robert? Yeah, we'd go out there and act crazy and then put flowers out on the cemetery on the headstones. So think about those that gave the ultimate sacrifice, please, this weekend. And those of you that have served, once again, we thank you. And your family members that served, we thank them as well. Robert, thank you.
Did you say you go out there and act crazy?
Yeah, my brothers and I, we'd run around and, you know, kind of start reading all the names.
Well, I knew that was probably factual, but I didn't know you'd ever admit to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
man, I didn't know if you're ever going to quit talking.
I'm transparent.
You put a sales guy and a microphone together. I mean, you know, it's Can't pry that thing out of his hand. Look at him grip that thing.
Well, what about this camera thing? Go ahead. I'm gonna let you speak
See,
to it.
you said it very well. Very well. It's all about saving lives. You know, your lives are precious. You know, you have kids, you have moms and daddies and brothers and sisters that love you. They don't want to lose you. These trucks can be very dangerous if not operated properly. So it's really all about saving lives. And that's the most important thing. That's the only thing. Anyway, everybody have a great holiday. Memorial Day is a special day. If you want to call it Decoration Day, you can. That's fine with me. Everybody, God bless each of you and be safe out there. Thank you.